Just to give you a little bit of context about why we're here and what we're doing. You guys heard about the Haiti Tech Summit, right? It's this big activity. Most of, I think many faces I've seen here are probably going to be at the Decameron, but some won't be at the Decameron. So the idea of having this talk today was to first, since we are bringing a lot of people coming from Silicon Valley, a lot of great startups, we're bringing Google to Haiti. Our goal is not just to have an event. Our goal is trying to connect, and what we're starting right now is really looking into seeing what the opportunities could be for disruption, for changing things, for partnership, for whatever that can come out. So we thought that we could not have these people passing by and not have them have a taste of what the ecosystem is and what people are doing. I know you guys are a lot. I think probably a lot of you are thinking about how they're going to pitch their business and everything, and we don't have a lot of time because we're on our way to the Decameron. The idea of bringing Roy is the global manager for Google Accelerator, so basically they're really leveraging technology for disruption. He'll talk more about what he does in a little bit. But what we want on Haiti Tech Summit or Banj side is to really have you tell him what you're doing, and that way he can plug in, he can connect to what you guys are doing, and hopefully having a aha moment or meeting the amazing one that's going to actually inspire him to do more, to come back to Haiti, or why not bring Google Accelerator to Haiti, right? I'm putting you in a tight shoe right now, but so that's the idea. I'm not gonna be long because we're thinking about staying here 1 hour. So I'm gonna pass it to Roy so he can tell us a little bit about what he does and what they do at Google Accelerator. And the idea is I will be facilitating a Q&A with him, so directly. So your opportunity to pitch your business is introducing yourself. Hi, I'm whoever I am. I'm doing this. Describe what you're doing in very short sentence before you ask him any question, right, that you would like to ask. I'm also signaling that we have 2 other guests who are doing the tour with us. Another person from Google, Dory, who works for Google. And our friend from Brazil who's working on ecosystem in Brazil, who, if you guys want to connect with him as well. All right? So I'm going to pass it along to Roy for an introduction and presentation. And then he's a very cool guy, right? Like, we're preparing this, like, being very serious and stuff. Like, he's been making fun in the car all day. So I'm hoping this is going to be cool and we're going to be able to interact in a great way, all right? How does that sound? See that?
Perfect. Good to see everybody.
All right, your turn.
I'll try not to fall, but I want to make sure. Can you hear me without the mic? I think the mic is kind of, I don't know. Again, another barrier between us. So to make it in simple on Google of how to be the startup guy. And there are about 9 or 10 teams at Google working with startups. The reason I took that initiative of being the startup guy is not because I'm not a serial entrepreneur. I haven't built like 5 or 6 companies in the past. I just wanted to take my strong belief that if you want to help somebody, you need to put their metrics as yours. So whenever we work with startups around the world, we started by taking startups metrics, and that's how I measure me and my team. How much money are startups that are in the program making? How much are they growing their user base? Are they penetrating new markets? Are they improving on the feedback they got from the users, and so on and so forth. But we've realized 2 things that would sound very simple to you, but you have to look at it from a Google perspective. One, mentorship doesn't scale. If we don't sit in a room with somebody and work eye to eye, putting on a YouTube or a video on how to build a company is nice. But if I don't solve for your problems, or if somebody doesn't sit with me and spend the time helping me with my problems, that's definitely going to be a sustainable relationship. So that's the second thing we understood. And the third thing we understood is that we'll never be able to reach every startup around the world. At the same time, I want to see ecosystems change the world. Silicon Valley is cool. Silicon Valley is what everybody talks about. 10 years from now, if Silicon Valley was selling its stocks, I would probably won't buy. Because there's so much innovation and so much movement around the world that we know that thing is going to change, and it's going to change sometime soon. How do we make that change faster? So these are the kind of questions that I try to look at with my team on how to solve for. And that is why a lot of our focus is about mentorship, passing the knowledge, getting bright people to work with us, work with them, learn from them, and do kind of a mentor-to-mentor program. Because helping a specific startup is great, But if I ensure that you have a healthy ecosystem of mentors around you who know how to build successful companies, that's definitely going to drive the whole ecosystem forward. As I said, we started 3.5 years ago, just doing kind of mentorship program for startups. After 2 years or a year and a half, I realized that it's awesome to have the Google brand, but we never proven as Google that we know how to help startups. We've never done anything that shows our added value, right? Everybody wants to work with Google, it's a nice brand, but where's the real value, the essence? So we launched an accelerator about 2 years ago, and the whole purpose of that accelerator is to put our money where our mouth is. We want to work with startups, we say we can help them, let's build a portfolio, let's put that portfolio online, let's be measured on that portfolio, just as any other investor or VC does that. Accelerator started in 3 countries, now we're in 17 countries, 4 continents. I have my personal aspirations, you said 3 minutes ago. But it has become an awesome, and at the same time, not only work with successful startups, but build professionals around the world that work with us. Now, being from emerging market, you know, historically, would be, why don't you come to Silicon Valley and learn from us on how to build a successful company? What happened in return is that we have these awesome professionals from emerging markets coming to Silicon Valley and educating Silicon Valley. And you gotta understand, the world is different. The world is not the 4-kilometer radius. Sorry if you're using kilometers, but I've been living in the United States for only 2 years. It's not the 4-kilometer radius around us. It's what's happening there, the innovation happening around the world in emerging market. And I think today I'm way more optimistic than I was 2 years ago. We see way more investments coming from Silicon Valley outside. We see a lot of more professionals looking to help and support and build those ecosystems because they understand the future is there. And again, I'm never happy with anything, so I like that positive movement, but I'm always thinking of how do we speed that process up? How do we create a change in a year that would normally take 5 years? That change is gonna happen, I promise you that, but let's speed it up, and that's mainly what I'm passionate about and why I travel around the world and try to kind of speed these kind of things forward.
All right. So how do you guys feel about that? Anyone want to ask a question, pitch their company, what they're doing? Let's be cool. Let's be relaxed.
What do you think about what
So
you've seen
you
so
want to
far?
know a little bit about how we got all these people coming. So we literally use social media.
Mm-hmm.
We started a Facebook, actually a group, Google form.
Mm-hmm.
Started circulating it around, sharing on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, and because we couldn't really find a database of who's doing it for the next startup. So we got 63 startups, and we invited everyone, and it was a turnout.
So I'll tell you what, I've been working in about 40 countries today. Some of them are very advanced. I come from Israel originally. But some have been showing a very interesting exponential growth in the last 2 years. And when I look at what made that change happen, and again, that's my view. You might think differently, that's perfectly all right. But what I've seen happen that created change, one is just getting a bunch of smart people into one place. Okay? We live in the 21st century. We believe that online and technology can enable technology development and help others. And I didn't see that working anywhere, by the way, anywhere. In the most advanced markets and the most growing potentially markets, it's exactly the same thing. People need to get into the same space, work together, share ideas, share goals, and train each other and help each other build what they're building. So a physical space is super, super, super critical. I can't underestimate how much that is important. And we've seen markets like Kenya and Nigeria that have grown out of that. Out of the, let's get together, let's work together on a regular basis, share ideas. This is what I'm working on. What do you think? I have this cool idea for a startup. You're there in the room with me. What do you think? Can you help me? What do you think of my idea? How do we kind of build that together? That's how things are built. So that's the first, I think, most important thing. Second thing, there were markets that grew up quickly were those who were, and again, I'm shooting myself in the leg here, I know, but the ones who were able to create awareness in Silicon Valley, in London, in Tel Aviv. For instance, if you talk about Brazilian innovation 5 years ago, I'm not going to say politically incorrect jokes, but that leads me in that direction when they thought about Brazilian innovation. Today, You got Sequoia, you got all the leading investors in Silicon Valley looking at Brazil as potential investment. And that is not only about the tough, strong entrepreneurs that came from Brazil. It's about awareness and education and putting the right success stories in front of investors so they understand, hey, I'm missing out. And the last thing an investor wants to feel is that he's missing out on an opportunity. So one is the space, the knowledge, creating a community, and two is creating awareness in Silicon Valley. And these are the two areas where I think our program is a natural fit. I'm just looking for the opportunity to showcase strong teams and interesting potential coming in Silicon Valley. That's one side of the education. And we've already managed to create a very nice portfolio, I would say, of local investors who come and hear what we have to say and come and see and learn. And at the same time, recruit and train mentors. Learn from them on what are the specifics of the market because we can't replace that. But imagine that if you're a mentor in any ecosystem and you come to Silicon Valley to work with the product manager of Pinterest and global growth of Uber, these are the kind of mentors we work with. And they're just looking for the opportunity to help and connect and learn from others. Just like this. They're human beings. Don't quote me on that. Yes?